What's going on, everybody? Appreciate you for tuning into the On the Ball podcast. What's going on? Hopefully, you're having a good day. Got a lot we're going to get into, as you can tell from the title and everything. And we also said it last week. We've been having so much fun with these tier lists that we got another one for you tonight. NFL watchability, so make sure you stick around for that. We have some kind of news and notes stuff that we'll talk about here at the start of the show to kind of lead into that. But obviously, want all of you in the comments to jump in here, say what's up, hit the like button, share it out, do all that stuff to support. We greatly appreciate it. So with that, let's go ahead and Brett guarding the two, not guarding the twos, guarding the three. How are you doing tonight, Brett?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to talk sports. Let's get it.
Exactly. All right. So, NFL. We have, as you can see under my name there, we got 30 days until the start of the regular season. We're getting joint practices starting tomorrow, which always is a highlight on the calendar. But we still have some drama going on around the NFL. The biggest one, of course, Jerry Jones and Micah Parsons. What's going on, Key? So it's gotten so bad that Micah has put in a trade request. Jerry doesn't care. Jerry's sitting there like, it is what it is. Don't lose sleep over it. We got this. All the while, we now have people, trying to make odds for where Micah will end up. Once again, Jerry's like, I'm not interested in trading him. Figure it out. It's all part of negotiations, as Jerry puts it. Even though Micah's like putting out tweets and stuff about he doesn't want to be there anymore. We've got Des Bryant jumping in, talking about he'll go after Jerry if it doesn't work out something with Micah. Like, it's getting messy. What's going on? Tony, Anthony, what's up? As Anthony said, already had our joint practice with the Ravens and Colts first fighting of the season. Well, that's what happens. Always happens that way. I know the Patriots have the Commanders tomorrow. We'll see if anything happens there. Key says Jerry's going to keep that man hostage. That's definitely what it seems like Jerry's intentions are. Free Micah. There we go. But Brett, like, you've seen kind of a lot of this go down. Like, what are your thoughts on it? Do you think Micah and Jerry can strike a deal, or could we see a season where Micah has to sit out in order to get out of Dallas?
You know what? It's the Cowboys. We know how they operate, so I'm looking forward to that deal on the eve of our opening night. Right? Yeah. It's the Dak Prescott situation all over again. I don't think they'd actually have Micah walk. I think he's going to end up paying him. You think he ends up caving because he always seems to do that? He just waits too long every time.
Mm-hmm.
I'd almost love to see Micah get out of there. It's just a terrible, toxic situation to be in.
Mm-hmm.
But this saga is the funniest thing ever. Like, how did this snowball into, like, Des Bryant and Nicki Minaj beefing and making a $10 million bet for a fight between Nicki Minaj's husband and Des Bryant? And this has been the greatest gift that just keeps on giving. But in all seriousness, I think Jerry just caves and ends up paying him.
Mm-hmm. Now, I mean, yeah, I kind of think that happens, but could it be something where maybe Micah just does like a short deal just to, I don't know, I guess keep his mind off of it for a little bit, but then we kind of end up back here in a couple of years. And maybe Micah's trying to wait out Jerry Jones, because I feel like Cowboys fans with each passing day are like kind of jumping more and more on the boat of like Jerry's just got to go at this point.
I don't think there's any benefit to him signing a short-term deal.
Okay.
Like,
I was just throwing it out there. I feel like, yeah, if he's going to sign something, Jerry would have to do kind of a longer time deal.
Yeah, absolutely. Short-term deal at that point, like, because then all of a sudden now, let's say you're sign a 2-year extension, and then you have the franchise tag, and it feels like it's a long-term deal, or he's out.
Yeah. Yeah.
To say, and I think that Micah just holds out even into the regular season. The Cowboys get dismantled defensively, and then Jerry's like, "Oh boy, I made a mistake."
Right. I was going to bring that up if he does the Chris Jones, because that was what last year where Chris Jones opening night was up in the stands with his representation that they kept showing like every 2 seconds. And then like within the week between week 1 and week 2, Chris Jones signed. So I'm guessing you're kind of alluding to that possibly happening here with Micah and Jerry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. That seems fair. I guess staying in the division, because Terry McLaurin is kind of in the same situation, although he and Washington aren't necessarily going at each other. I guess, what do you think about that situation? Because Dan Orlovsky kind of entered into that one saying, basically putting it all on Washington and siding with Terry McLaurin, because McLaurin has been producing in Washington despite all of the, crap quarterbacks, the Dan Snyder stuff. You put up numbers last season. You get Jaden Daniels, a quarterback of the future. You bring in Dan Quinn. You get new ownership. Terry McLaurin has another great season, and now they can't get something done. So what do you think happens in Washington? Anthony, I know you're watching because that's your team. So what do you think happens with Terry McLaurin in Washington?
They have to pay him. Otherwise, it's going to sink their whole season. Like, he wants DK Metcalf money, and he should, just by the sole reason of he's a better football player than DK Metcalf. Like, this is also, like, you have a quarterback that's on a rookie contract. Like, this is your time to pay these guys. And when you have a guy like Scary Terry, who he has great chemistry with, has been loyal to you through the worst times, and your number one option, if he doesn't sign, is Deebo Samuel, who probably runs like an 8-minute 40 at this point. Like, at this point, like, you just kind of got to sign him. Get the guy paid, get him in the building. Or not get him in the building. I know he's there, but, make him happy. Reward that loyalty, and maybe down the line when it's time for, Daniels to get paid, maybe he'll take a discount for you and give you some back. But I think right now is the time to show that you're loyal to Scary Terry.
And I see, Anthony and Tony talking about, well, Tony says Terry deserves the bag. I agree. Anthony says he'll get paid. I do think that happens as well. I feel like the relationship there is better than Jerry and Micah at this point. And I do think Washington values Terry. I have seen some people talk about, Terry's age because is he early 30s, or he's like 30 or something like that. And we know how NFL teams get scared of that big 3-0 number. Deebo just wants to be a tight end. I mean, hey, works for some. So should his age really play part of it or not? Because obviously DK Metcalf is a younger wide receiver. But like you said, Terry McLaurin, you look at the numbers, he's up there year after year.
Yeah, I think he's still fine. I think he's still fine to be paid. Like, if you guarantee most of the money up front where all the production's going to be, like, what did you say he wanted? Like $33 million. So let's say 3 years, $100 million with all the guarantees in like the first couple of years. Yeah, then I think that's fine. He's still going to be productive for at least the next 2 seasons. So say next 2-3 seasons. So I think if you sign him to like that nice little like 3-year extension, for example, or even 4, but put all the guaranteed money up front, I think the contract ages perfectly well.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm a big Scary Terry fan. So, obviously seeing these rumors about, could the Patriots go after him? Love to see it. I don't think it happens. I think Washington would be crazy with the momentum they have from last season to now turn around and, let Terry go out the door. I think that would do a lot of harm to the fan base that thinks Washington is on the right path finally after so many years of, just middling around mediocrity. Anthony says it's the guaranteed money that they're not clicking together.
That's what it always is with these contracts.
Yeah. Buffalo has to go after him. He's going to get traded. I could see that. The next headache for next year is trying to keep Payne. Yeah. I mean, look, this is what Washington's got to deal with. Success, and now, guys coming up for big money deals, and whether or not they can manage that correctly. Because when they stunk, obviously all these guys just ended up leaving or whatever, and it was what it was. But now, the rookie years with Jaden Daniels, you have to take full advantage of it. Because he's going to be another one who's going to get paid in a couple of years.
I would definitely like to see Scary Terry to the... What team fumbles the bag more, Dallas or the Colts? Colts have... Dallas?
Yeah. You figure contract-wise is Dallas. I mean, the Colts' biggest issue was Anthony Richardson, which, big deal, don't get me wrong. But I feel like for the most part, they've made decent decisions everywhere else. It's just the quarterback position they've been lost.
The Cowboys are hilarious in the sense that they don't understand extending their superstars early, to get ahead of market value and lock them into these discounted contracts. And it's the funniest thing ever because they always wait till the last minute.
Yep.
You knew you were keeping Dak Prescott. Did you really have to wait till 27 other quarterbacks signed that, resetting the market to finally sign Dak? Or this whole Micah Parsons situation.
Mm-hmm.
You're telling me that you really had to wait for 27 other edge rushers to sign, $30+ million deals and now 40.
Yeah.
And that's why you're in this situation. You extend them last year, for example, who's the highest paid edge last year? Was it at 35-ish million a year? You extend them last year for 36, 37. You're good. You knew he was going to command top of the market money, and the market only goes up. So I don't understand why the Cowboys continuously does this to themselves every time.
I mean, we know why. It's the Jerry Jones factor. This is what Jerry loves to do. John says, Daniel Jones, though, I would have gotten Teddy Bridgewater over him. I mean, yes. Teddy Two Gloves probably gives you more confidence than Daniel Jones, but I feel like there was questions about whether Bridgewater was going to kind of get back into the league, and then he had the stuff with the high school. So he signed today with
Buccaneers.
Yeah, the Bucks. So he'll be Baker's backup.
It almost feels like that it doesn't really matter with that, though, because it's you're probably, if you're the Colts, you're probably just getting a new quarterback next year anyway in the draft.
Right.
If next year's, quarterbacks are as good as I'm hearing people saying they are, go and get one if you're the Colts. You're not going to be good. You're probably going to be fringe wild card team. You take that pick, take a couple first, and move up and go get your quarterback of the future. So if I'm the Colts, Daniel Jones, Teddy Two Gloves, I think they give me about the same chance to win anyway.
Yeah. I mean, just thinking about the Colts and the possible marketing, they had all those years of this greatness with Peyton Manning. If they could turn around and bring in Arch Manning next season, you think Colts fans would be mad about that? Probably not. What's wrong with Cleveland having 6 quarterbacks and John McKee? I mean, the crazy thing is, we sat here, we laughed about them having 4 quarterbacks. Then every quarterback's dealing with some injury except for Joe Flacco, the old man. So now they bring in Tyler Huntley, who it seems like you need a backup quarterback. Go get Tyler Huntley because he's always going to find a job somewhere. But I guess Shador's injury isn't necessarily that bad because he'll probably start the preseason game.
Hear me out.
The story about them trading a quarterback at some point. which they obviously have to do. So
Hey, you
that's
know
the
what?
Browns.
Maybe this is the master plan. They're gonna run packages with all 5 quarterbacks out there. They're gonna run a flea flicker, but you just don't know which quarterback they're stopping at.
I mean, look, if
Just like the first ever 5-man flea flicker, and it's gonna be Jerry Jeudy running in circles until he gets open.
look, you want drama, you got it, all of it in Cleveland, because you also have like Deshaun Watson sitting there, and some people are like Watson could show up at some point this season. I don't
No,
think
he's
Browns
not.
fans want that at all, but I guess if he's healthy, they may have to throw him out there. I I don't know. I have no idea what to think about the Cleveland situation.
I don't, even if he is healthy, if you're the Browns, you just tell him to stay home until the
Yeah.
contract's over. Like, unless you're bringing him into play, like,
Mm-hmm.
there's no benefit to having him around your football team.
Right.
Like, I don't think you're bringing him in to be a mentor. Not a great guy to mentor
No,
from.
definitely don't want that. So Damien says, hate to defend Jerry. Well, we got one out there. The only reason Micah isn't signed is because he shot himself in the foot when he said those comments about playing like Henry shouldn't want to go to Dallas. Okay.
But the problem is, though, like, I would have loved to think he shot himself in the foot, but Jerry also drug himself on, the Dak extension. He has a history of doing these things, just dragging on the extensions.
Yep.
So I would love to say that, maybe Micah does have some fault, but part of me also keeps looking at Jerry because every year, constantly, what is it? It's, hey, there's the most obvious player in the world needs an extension. Hey, Dak needs an extension. Hey, I'm gonna wait till opening night. The market got reset like 3 times. Jordan Love, Tua, they all got new contracts.
Mm-hmm.
And then we, say, so now he's just doing it again. They just got to update their contract policy, man. Just start signing these guys early.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I feel like, Cowboys fans are waiting for that day when Jerry's no longer running things, because maybe the organization will run a little bit smoother. Problem is, you have no idea when that's going to be. But let's see. So John says, are the Browns just starting Sanders to hush the media? I feel like that's never going to happen, because if he does start and he plays well, then the media is going to be all over it. If he starts and he stinks, the media is going to be all over it also.
I feel like they're starting him because everybody else is hurt. It's funny because there's always going to be like, who's going to get all the preseason reps? It was always going to be Sanders and Gabriel.
Yeah.
Like, what good does Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett really get preseason reps out of? Like, sure, they'll get some, but a majority of these reps should be going to Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. So I think that's kind of more the line of thinking. They're the young guys that need to be developed. I already know what I get from Kenny Pickett, like well below mediocre quarterback play. I know Joe Flacco's inconsistent. Like no amount of training camp and preseason reps are going to change that. So use this time and just develop Sanders and Gabriel, and whichever one you like more, keep. Whichever one that you don't like more, see if you can snag like a day 3 pick for him or a day 2.
Yeah. I mean, Pickett seems like the one who's obviously going to get moved out. At least the first one to get moved out. I mean, what his market looks like, I have no idea, but they're going to have to do something. So, yeah, I agree. The preseason was clearly going to be Sanders and Gabriel. You don't want Flacco out there. Flacco he's proven long enough who he is. You don't need him in preseason.
Got to get the young whippersnappers reps.
Right. Jerry shot his own foot. Let's save money. Could have signed him last year and saved like $4 to $7 million. That's what you're talking about. Caleb Williams not looking so good under Ben Johnson. I mean, let's talk about that. I saw that. I don't know if you saw it, the clip of Caleb Williams with the net. You got to throw the balls through, I think it's like 4 openings, and he missed every one. And it seemed like with each miss, he was getting more and more angry. I think it'll be fine. I feel like it's a little early to panic necessarily, but if Caleb Williams starts off slow, I feel like Bears fans will once again start thinking, oh, great. The guy we thought was finally going to be a good quarterback may not be one, and we got to get another one again. Bobby, what are your thoughts about Caleb Williams and his struggles so far? Reason to panic or no?
No. It's preseason. We're not panicking on preseason. I don't care that much about preseason.
Right.
To me, preseason is more like training camp. I'm more focused on the real young guys. I want to see these like fringe roster battles, right?
Mm-hmm.
Am I worried about Caleb Williams? No, I know he's a great talent. He just has his moments. Everybody has those moments. I could go back and go to family night and show you like 5 Jordan Love throws I didn't like. Like, I'm not going to sit there and make the Jordan Love suck string because he missed some throws on family night.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Caleb Williams should get the same benefit of the doubt. I think it's too early, way too early to overreact to Caleb. He's a rookie. He's already on his second head coach and coordinator.
Yep.
I think with training camp, like, for example, if you're like a veteran and you look terrible and you're like on a fringe, like you're on the bubble in terms of, building a roster, like, yeah, then you could probably worry about that player. But a player like Caleb, I wouldn't worry about him at all.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Jory said Micah should stand on business at this point. I mean, you don't put out that tweet about not wanting to be there. You're not planning on standing on business. I agree. Get out of there. All right, Tony said the only fans who should be panicking right now are the Cowboys fans. Everyone else knows what they're going to get, good or bad. Never heard any news on Kenny Pickett. That's because I mean, Shador obviously was going to take most of the news feed. I think I said it's probably like Flacco, Gabriel. Pickett's just the guy that he's just there. Like, if he never played it down, people would probably forget Kenny Pickett was actually in Cleveland anyway.
If every single quarterback got hurt and I had to play Kenny Pickett or a Wildcat offense, I would run the Wildcat.
Exactly.
Like, you're not going to hear anything about Kenny Pickett. Like, he's there. Let me put it this way. I think Kenny Pickett does have value in Cleveland. I think that it's smart to have a backup quarterback to avoid throwing your rookie into the fire too early.
Mm-hmm.
So if Flacco gets hurt, you can throw Pickett in there. And guess what? You don't have to make any rash decisions about throwing your rookies in there and potentially damaging their confidence early.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think having Kenny Pickett on the roster does have value. But also, you're not going to hear anything about him. You shouldn't hear anything about him. There's nothing to really say about him.
Yeah. True. John had an argument today. Which team will have a worst year, 49ers or Saints?
Saints.
The fact that is an argument means football's back. Because I have no idea in what way somebody's arguing against the Saints in this situation. And now he put, do the 49ers even have a full roster? I don't care.
Christian McCaffrey with 2 arthritic ankles would be the best player on the Saints. Like, It's not pretty. I'm hoping that the 49ers have a bounce back year and they stay healthy. But even if they don't, like, a banged up 49ers team is still better than a fully healthy Saints team. That Saints team is just bad, and they don't have a real quarterback.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'll take Purdy over Shuck, Rattler, whoever you throw out there. The Niners, look, they lost some big names. Granted, they also have a very easy schedule. So they at the end of the year could be a playoff team. I don't know if there's an NFL fan out there who sees a scenario where the Saints are a playoff team outside of the Bucks, Falcons, and Panthers just folding midseason and the Saints winning it by default.
If the entire NFC had to forfeit, the Saints would still find a way to miss the Super Bowl. and the playoffs.
Right. Let's see. Hands are too small. Yeah, right, exactly. What's the news with Trey Hendrickson? So Hendrickson is holding in, like he's in the facility, he's not practicing, but he's hoping to get a deal signed. That's kind of where Hendrickson is at this point.
I don't think he's gonna ever actually practice. He's just there so he can get, accrue games to free agency.
Yeah.
You know exactly what's gonna happen. If he does play, he's gonna play like one rep, be like, oh doc, I rolled my ankle. Oh, I gotta sit out for a month.
Mm-hmm.
Comes back in a month. Oh, my hamstring. All right, that's another month.
Now, look, if you're Hendrickson, the fact that they finally got Stewart, the first round pick, signed, maybe Henderson's like, okay, well, let's start negotiating again. Maybe, Mike Brown and whoever find some resources to give me an extension, and then we can kind of go forward. Because remember, Burrow said he wanted Chase, Higgins, and Hendrickson to stay in Cincinnati. They've done 2 out of the 3 so far. Now, Hendrickson probably should have been the easiest one if they had done it correctly. But now, once again, these teams that don't have the wherewithal to take care of guys early, it's coming to bite them now. Because now they're probably going to pay a little bit more for Hendrickson than they probably wanted to. But as bad as that defense is, if you have Stewart, who's supposed to be a pass rusher on one side, pairing him with Hendrickson could do a lot to help the back end of the defense, the linebackers and all that. And still, the defense still is going to be like, top 10 or anything like that. But at least you might be a little bit better with a guy who led the league in sacks last year back on the end of your line. Henderson will get an offer from Detroit. Well, Detroit does have money. Could see that. But I don't know. Cincinnati's got... Talking about the issues with Cincinnati would take like 3 days, but hopefully they get it done. Would love to see a better defense, Burrow's offense, see what they can do.
If Burrow takes his team to even like a wild card spot, give that man the MVP.
The MVP. Yeah.
If this team wins like 10 games, just give it to him.
Right. Yeah, definitely agree.
It's funny. I think they'll actually be a good team. They as long as their special teams also doesn't sell out. And hey, what's good, Sajin? As long as your special teams hold up, they'll still be a good team.
Mm-hmm.
But I think very clearly, like once we get into the nitty gritty portion of the season, obviously I'm talking about the playoffs. Like I think the Bengals this year will bounce back enough to make it. I just don't think the defense will hold up long enough in the playoffs for them to do anything.
Right. Yeah, I think that's fair. All right, so we wanted to start off NFL. We'll go NBA really quickly and then jump back into NFL to kind of close out the show. So NBA, we had, you and I have talked about NBA media before.
Boy.
We had a couple of guys kind of really step in it this week with some wild takes, and I think we'll start with Perk, favorite of the show, Kendrick Perkins. So Perkins sits there talking about Bill Russell, who he said without Bill Russell's struggle, guys like him would never have had the opportunity to play in the league. But you're like, okay, Perk's making sense. Then Perk did what Perk likes to do. He completely wipes that out with something that's outrageous, where he then goes, the racism and all that Bill Russell dealt with, you can equate today's athlete dealing with social media as kind of the same level, which, like, I have his whole quote. He sat here and he was expanding upon it by saying, like, well, yeah, the racism stuff, it might lead to you dying or something. He's like, social media with mental health and all that, you can compare them. Obviously, I heard it. I know you heard it. And those of you, if you heard it in the chat, love to know your thoughts on it. Like, why did Perk have to do this to himself? He would have been fine sticking with his original statement on Bill Russell and how he wouldn't have had the opportunity to be there. Like, if he wanted to wait a little bit and then introduce social media as its own little thing for today's athlete, fine, I guess. But using them kind of in the same conversation is where he completely misses the boat. Because yes, social media is a thing. It's some people get lost in it. It can kind of warp your reality and all that. I get that. Because also Perk was like, everybody's affected differently. He also said, I'm not trying to put the two together, but you did in the same conversation. All he's saying this day and age, a lot of these guys are dealing with their own form of adversity. People say, just stay off of social media. Perk says, you know how hard it is to stay off of social media. I don't know, if you're making like 50, 60 million a year, it shouldn't be that hard. But I guess what were your thoughts on Perk's, insight, I guess we'll call it.
The funny part is, like, I don't know how much I really have to say about it. Like, right?
Yeah.
The problem is, like, he did all the talking, and all you really have to do is listen to the quote to hear how stupid he sounds. But you know what? Let's break this down into multiple parts, because, like, he did cook in the first half because social media can be a problem. And I think too many people feel a little too empowered with some of the stuff that they say online because they know they won't have to face these, athletes, face to face. Now, there's some criticisms that are deserved, some that aren't, but sometimes it really can be a problem. But when we can't really compare the modern day struggles of social media usage to Bill Russell and the Civil Rights Act, because, like, we're talking about, like, Bill Russell, if I remember correctly, like, people are, like, trying to or did, like, burn down his house. They broke into his house just to defecate on his bed. Like, you just can't do that. Like, there's, I understand that, like, players and stuff will get, like, death threats, but a lot of the times, those are just very empty. And I do think those are really a problem. And like I said, that's like, we got to cut out some of the social media behavior, but to compare it to, like, them physically going to, like, Bill Russell's house and burning it down and defecating on his bed, like, and a slew of other things, like, I'm not for that one. That's a terrible, terrible comparison. I think he did fine in the first half. And if he would have said that and moved on, it would have been fine. But the fact he added on the Bill Russell part really just rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah, I mean, look, in Bill Russell's case, legit worry for himself, family, and all that. Not to say that you shouldn't take the threats of social media seriously, because you should, because you never know, the person typing it out, where their mental state is, and what they're actually capable of doing. A lot of the social media stuff are, people trying to be tough behind their monitor to try to get a reaction out of an athlete so they can feel some type of way. So yeah, if there were two different conversations, fine. The fact that they were within the same kind of thread of the conversation is where he loses me. Because yes, there are some I guess pitfalls when it does come to social media. We see it all the time. But I also think, as I said before, when you make that much, it shouldn't necessarily be hard to get off of social media. Should seem pretty easy. Like, if you see that your feed is a bunch of people coming at you and it's getting kind of reckless, you turn around, count your money, and you keep it moving. I feel like that's simple. Brewers are the best team in baseball. Shout out to the Brewers. They're playing well.
No, and like, I completely agree with that. It was like, it was so bad for, like, Bill Russell that when they retired his jersey, it was a private ceremony because he didn't want his jersey to be retired in front of Boston fans, in which I believe he called them like the flea market of America. Like he had a lot of resentment towards Boston because of the way that he was treated. So overall, Perk just way missed the mark on this one.
Yeah.
Should have just stopped in the first half.
I mean, Perk isn't necessarily rebuilding that bridge for, being left out of the championship parade. Keep saying stuff like that, they'll never bring you back. So Damien said, I think the 49ers, well, this is going back a little bit. 49ers have a deep fall back. I don't think Purdy's that guy, especially without those pieces they lost. We've seen Brock struggle a lot when he doesn't have those players.
I think obviously adding Robert Saleh helps, but I also think that they benefit from having like one of the easiest schedules in the league, if I remember correctly. Like their strength of schedule is like literally the easiest or in the top 5 of easiest in the league. So I think they'll benefit even if, he does fall a little bit from that defense, from Saleh being back, and just kind of a weak enough schedule to coast by this year.
Yeah, the Niners will have the NFC South and the AFC South, which obviously sitting here August 5th seems really easy part of the schedule. But I also think with a lot of those teams, there's some uncertainty, and some of those teams can play better than we may expect. So it may turn out to be a little bit tougher. But look, they paid Purdy the way that they did. That means he should be able to put up numbers no matter who's around him. Now, I agree that he has lost a lot around him, but look, Brandon Ayuk, go be a number 1. Christian McCaffrey, stay healthy. You get those two, I think it should be good enough for them to be, if not a playoff team, like right there, week 18 or week 18, right there playing for a spot. Like that has to be the goal for this season. Anthony says, did you hear about the Miami Heat? I had to look it up. I think this is the story you're talking about. Brett, I would love to get your reaction to this. So a former Miami Heat security officer has been accused of stealing jerseys and memorabilia worth millions of dollars and selling them. He's a 62-year-old man charged with transporting and transferring stolen goods in interstate commerce. Seems like a fancy way to say you just took some stuff and tried to make some money off of it. I think that's the story Anthony's talking about. What are your thoughts on that one?
It's unfortunate that happened. That's a lot of great memorabilia that obviously would love to see displayed. So I hope that it all gets squared away and returned to their rightful owners.
Yeah. I mean, look, I can't fault my guy for trying. 62 years old, he tried to secure that bag at the end. But look, it's probably not going to end well for him. But yeah, hopefully it's something where, I mean, hate to see like some 60-year-old get like thrown under the jail, but it is kind of wild. Millions of dollars of worth of memorabilia he had in his possession that he shouldn't have. Let's see. John says Spurs made a great decision on signing Fox now to a 4-year max. You have Wemby, Castle, and the draft pick number 2 this year. So it should be fine salary-wise.
Chargers just brought Keenan Allen back.
Okay. I think that makes sense. Quentin Johnson, still fear for that guy. Keenan Allen is older. He'll still make some catches. I like that. That seems like a John Harbaugh type of move.
At this point, the second part's the most important. Can you catch? Yeah. Welcome aboard.
Yeah, that's definitely a Harbaugh move. I like that. Let's see. So Traden said the Brewers are the best team. Got John saying I think the Phillies are slightly better than the Brewers just because the Brewers put up 35 over 3 games. They will fail in the playoffs. I mean, look, that's I bet that's every Brewers fear. Is it's another year where they kind of flame out in the playoffs. I think this Brewers team could be different. They're on a nice little run right now. We'll see how long it lasts, but I don't want to talk about their downfall yet. I think this team could be different. Now, Miz, their young pitcher, I think he's on the IL. We'll see what comes of that. But if he comes back and pitches the way he has, you have a guy, top of your rotation that you can take into the playoffs and feel good about.
It's all right. It's the Brewers. They'll find some random AAA or pull him out of the catacombs, and he'll have a sub 3.5 ERA. We're all good. We're all good over here.
Look, it seems like that way. We'll definitely see how their season plays out. Sidon says, off topic, no starters for the Seahawks in the preseason. Excited to see Milroe on the field.
I mean, fair enough. Might as well use preseason to gauge how your young rookies are. Mm-hmm. Young fringe bubble talent.
I think the Seahawks are intriguing. Also, Sidon, I don't know if you've been to the network's page. I actually did do a little write-up of the NFC West for a little preview. And I do think that the Seahawks could have a good year. It's obviously going to depend on, Darnold, McDonald, JSN, if he's a number one, Cooper Kupp and all that. But I'm excited to see Milroe as well. Milroe's kind of been forgotten in terms of the rookie class. I think there's a lot of people who don't think he's necessarily good enough. I think there are some who think with some good coaching that Milroe could be a decent starter. So I will be definitely paying attention to preseason to see how Milroe looks on the field.
I think the Seahawks mainly come down to that offensive line. Like
the line and the two-headed running back.
Like when it comes to Geno, like he was always under pressure last year. And the funny part is Geno navigated it actually pretty well, I think. Now, Sam Darnold, every time I see him under pressure, he just completely falls apart. So it's all going to come down to, can they keep Sam Darnold upright? Because if they can't, it's going to be a really long season for Seattle.
Yeah. But once again, only because I did the article, I believe they were 28th in the league last year, on average, giving up about like 3.5 sacks a game. And like you just said, Darnold's not a guy you want back there taking hits. So yeah, the offensive line play is going to be pivotal in the success for the Seahawks. Because not only in the passing game, because like I said, you have Kenneth Walker, you had Charbonnet, who didn't have the greatest year last year. I think Walker missed some games, and I think Charbonnet might have been hurt a couple of games as well. But that O-line has got to create openings for those guys, because when they're going right, those two are a formidable backfield duo. And if you get them going, that can make it easier on Darnold. Is this a make or break year, or is it next year for Kyler? I feel like the past 3 years, that's been the thing. Because last year they started off well, and then you look at the numbers, they just dove off a cliff. I just want to see 17-game season of Kyler Murray, I guess, playing well. What does that look like necessarily? Because I don't know what that is with Kyler Murray. I think this is a big year for him, but if you want to say next year, sure.
I mean, nobody knows what 17 games of Kyler Murray playing well is, because we've never seen it.
Mm-hmm.
Kyler just seems to be a guy that he really rides the wave of whatever his team is doing. So if everybody's playing really well, Kyler will ball out.
Mm-hmm.
But also, like, doesn't seem like he really lifts them out of a lot of bad spots. So if the team's playing poorly, Kyler just kind of goes down with them, if that makes sense. Like, he goes through stretches where he looks like he can elevate a team, but then he goes through stretches where he looks like a backup. And I can't tell what he is half the time.
Yeah, I mean, the good that came out of last season, Trey McBride came on as a really good young tight end. I think this year I want to see the connection Kyler and Marvin Harrison look better. Because last year it was kind of rocky. So if they can look better there, I guess we'll see where their record ends up at the end of the year. November 14th is Call of Duty Black Ops 7 release date. Oh, hey, you also got, I know it's not a gaming show or anything. You got Battlefield 6. Kyler might convert to Battlefield 6, which comes out in October.
I'm definitely getting the beta for that. I'm really looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah, open beta this weekend. I'm excited for that. Sidon says, "See, Kyler, agree with you. Nonetheless, still excited. You should be excited for the Seahawks. They do need to play better at home too. The Seahawks were like 3-5 last year. I mean, you have the 12th man. That should be a place that you play well. Cardinals are going to the Super Bowl according to theirs. Well, good for them. Damien's not happy about Keaton.
It's not like the Bears knew how to use them anyway, so it's whatever. Yeah. But to be fair, the Chargers paid him like $8.5 million, which that is a lot of money for 2025 Keenan Allen. So I don't blame the Bears for letting him walk. And when you already have guys like Rome Odunze already and DJ Moore, you don't really need to splurge on a third wide receiver.
Right. I mean, Damien, look, you should be happy with the coach that they brought in. The moves apparently of the offseason, you should feel good about that. The focus on the offensive line. Now it's on Caleb to perform well behind that line and get you some wins.
Was it Ryan Pace or was it just Eberflus using him so poorly? He's like, I got to get out of here.
That's a fair, yeah.
Eberflus had 35-year-old Keenan Allen running go routes. I'm like, oh, come on. That's just elder abuse at this point.
Right. Exactly. All right. Just going back to the thoughts on the NFL banning smelling salts. I always thought it was kind of weird because they're basically just like ammonia, sniffing that to whatever effect it has on you. I feel like that can't be good for you, smelling ammonia like that, game in and game out. Maybe there's some health studies to it. I believe I saw that there was a player who wanted them to do something about it. Might have been Kittle or somebody who went to the league and was like, we kind of need to do something about smelling salts. So I don't think it's a big deal. I hope we don't hear about it from anybody once the season starts. I feel like that's one of those things. It's like, all right, they'll find something else.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. We've seen plenty of times where they'll, kind of use smelling salts to kind of just, kind of someone up and, get them back on the field. So I think
it is a real thing. They have banned smelling salts.
I think it can be fair to ban smelling salts because it does feel like that some players or some teams kind of abused it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think George Kittle was actually very happy about it. But we'll see how it plays out. We'll see what the I'm curious to see what the ramifications of all this are.
Right. Yeah, because Kittle wanted some middle ground. So I guess Kittle was on to the league looking to ban it. I guess the players probably didn't. And then I don't know where there's a middle ground necessarily. You can only use it certain periods of the game. I don't know. But yeah, we'll see how the players react to it. To a sponsored smelling salt. I mean, yeah, he probably went through a good amount of them. Okay, so did have one more NBA thing before we get into our tier list for tonight. That is NFL themed. So, you guys in the chat, you can stay on the NFL tip and keep flooding the comments. But really quickly, we talked about Perk and his questionable analogy. We've got to talk about Richard Jefferson, a man who, look, I'm not the biggest Jefferson fan when he's on ESPN. And when he said what he said, kind of makes you, yeah. So basically, he was, I think it might have been the same podcast, which is kind of wild if you listen to it, that you had these two conversations in the same podcast. But Richard Jefferson goes, I prefer Karl Malone over Charles Barkley. I feel like, there's a section of fans who would be like, I agree with you. Now, his reasoning is where the disconnect happens. The reason why I would pick Karl Malone over Charles is because of the level of professionalism that Karl Malone always approached. When I look at Karl Malone versus Charles was in Philly. He was in and out of shape, and then he would, some of his off the court partying that we knew about. I'm saying Charles is a rebel. He's not a role model, which Charles Barkley told you he's not a role model. Not taking shots at him, but I'm saying when you look at a guy like Karl Malone, who trained for 8 hours a day, he played for 19 years, he was second in scoring, and if his body would have held up, he probably would have been the all-time leading scorer. That's all well and good, but Richard's kind of leaving some of the off-the-court antics of Malone out of this when you're talking about professionalism. Now, those of you, if you don't know about it, you can go Google it. Don't necessarily need to get into it because it's kind of disturbing.
Yeah, there are about 13 reasons why that's absolutely wrong. And
Yes.
if you don't believe me, Google Karl Malone 13. He just had to know that quote would never go over well. Like, what in the actual fuck were you thinking? Like, I don't understand how. Like, you have to know that they're not going to look at it, Karl Malone off the court and just think, oh yeah, lifting weight. No, they're going to think about the whole case of him and the 13-year-old. Like, what? I don't understand. Like, what? Yeah, role model Karl Malone, who shouldn't be allowed near school zones, but somehow was a dunk contest judge.
Yeah.
Like, we're putting off the court and we're saying that Charles Barkley isn't a role model. Are you insinuating that Karl Malone is?
Oh, he's a professional.
I don't give a shit if he was the all-time leading scorer, pardon my French.
Yeah.
Like, this is a horrible thing to say because you know what it comes off as in all reality? If you can put the ball in the hoop, what you do off the court doesn't matter. If you're good enough at what you do off the court doesn't matter. Like, you can sleep with a 12-year-old like Karl Malone. There's your spoiler if you didn't know what Karl Malone did off the court, which I'm sure you guys knew that already.
Yeah.
But you can put the ball in the hoop, so that doesn't really matter. Professionalism. Be like Karl Malone. No, that's terrible.
You trained for 8 hours a day. You took care of your body. Yeah. Who cares about the other stuff?
Yeah, you should want to be like Karl Malone. Don't use Karl Malone and insinuate he's a role model. What the fuck's wrong with you, Richard?
Which now, it's going to make it interesting with the whole inside the NBA, ESPN, all that. Barkley's going to have something to say about this the first chance he gets on ESPN. I think that's going to be interesting because Richard Jefferson is going to be around. I believe Jefferson signed like a new deal this offseason for their broadcast crew. So, I mean, I think Jory put it perfectly. Like, Richard's an idiot. I have no idea because you have to think Richard Jefferson knows about Malone off the court. So then to throw that in there and your reasoning against it is, oh, well, Barkley was a partier, he's out of shape or whatever. Okay, if he's out there partying, fine. He still didn't do anything on Karl Malone's level. Like, there's a reason why when Karl Malone finished playing, like, he kind of just disappeared for a while. Nobody was looking for Karl Malone because they all knew with this in his past, like, he's not a guy that you want to just prop up all over the place. I was kind of surprised like you when he showed up for the dunk contest. I was like, okay, we're doing this now. But And Barkley talks about it. Yes, he was out of shape, but he had Dr. J. I think Moses Malone, I believe, was the guy who told him that he needed to lose weight, and then Barkley lost weight. Now Barkley was never, Mr. Fitness, but he still had a decent career, and he won an MVP as well. So stop acting like Barkley was some, out of shape drunk that was just, stumbling up and down the floor. Yeah, he's not partying with 12-year-olds.
Richard made it sound like Barkley had a drink in his hand on the sideline, drinking like that one dude from Benchwarmers.
Right.
Like, what?
Look, this is where sports media is now, people. John asks, is Jordan Addison a problem in the making? He's just been suspended for 3 games, substance abuse. He had the DUI. Yeah. I mean, it's a problem start. Can he turn it around? Sure. It's almost like at the point where you probably like maybe some vet up in Minnesota to, I don't know, kind of show him the ropes or take him. I don't know. I think it's definitely reckless, and it's something that needs to be monitored if you're Minnesota. If that, you need to get him some kind of counseling or something or something like that. Because if this becomes a regular where every offseason he's doing something reckless, then you just got to worry at what point does he get into like serious trouble, like Henry Ruggs style. Henry Ruggs style, and ends up going to jail or something like that. Like that's the worry of where Addison's kind of headed, especially when he's doing like cited for driving 140 in 2023.
Yeah, it's just kind of being an idiot. He's just gonna take money out of his pocket.
Yeah,
like that's all he's doing. Obviously, paying fines, but also if you keep getting suspended, like what's going to happen at your next contract negotiations? Well, you're missing a quarter of every season for doing some sort of stupid off the court, field stunt. That might cost you millions. So I think you just got to really be careful and going forward, because another one obviously maybe you get another disciplinary action from the league, and at that point, like maybe let's say your $25 million a year contract becomes 20. Or the guarantees become less because you can't stay on the field.
Yep. Damien, sorry to go off the rails here for going back to the stupidity of sports fans. What are your thoughts on homeboy in the WNBA who threw the bedroom toy to the court? What are we doing at this point?
An idiot? Like I don't have to say that because he's an idiot. Yeah.
Like it's happened in Buffalo for Bills games, but that's Buffalo. People are like, it's wild up in Orchard Park. This, I mean, it happened first. Which game was it? And it happened at a Dream game, but it happened somewhere before that. So obviously the one at the Dream game was just playing copycat. I'm hoping it's done at this point because it's dumb, and the women, that's not what they're going to play for some random idiot to throw something like that onto the court. And as Jory said, of course, it happened in Atlanta because hey, it's Atlanta. So I'm hoping it's over with because it's dumb.
Yeah, it's stupid and it's just reckless. At the end of the day, there's a big difference in doing it in a football field and doing it on a basketball court. You'll probably throw it on a football field, and you can just sweep that out, and nobody will really notice because of the size. And if you can even make the throw all the way to the field, because there's a solid distance between the fans and the actual field, you have to lob it over the bench and all this other. Like, you're probably not going to hit or potentially hurt anybody, but. Like, a lot more can go wrong in a more confined basketball court. You throw it in the field of play, somebody slips on it. Like, it's weird as it is talking about it. Like, there's just a lot that can go wrong throwing things onto a basketball court. So I really hope that it's all done.
Also, you got to go through checkpoints to get into the game. Come on. I mean, obviously, it probably wouldn't set off a detector or anything, but it's like, now start patting people down. I can't have you walking into my arena with that on your hand and then launching that in the middle of a game. Because one, it's gonna make the women obviously uncomfortable, which it should. Like the WNBA has, their not their own issues, but like they are trying to reach a serious level where they're no longer kind of seen as a bit league. Like they're trying to become a legit league in this country. And yes, stuff like that, it just makes it, I don't know. Like I said, I hope it's over with because one, having the second person do it, you're not original at that point. And two, the players spoke out against it. So I'm hoping, and I think the one in Atlanta, he did get arrested for it. So that's good for sure. So hopefully this is the only time we need to talk about it because it's just ridiculous at this point. What's going on, David?
What's up, David?
I mean, Jory raises a good question. Like, why are you bringing that out the house to take to a dream game? Like, what are you doing? Like, what's going on in your life? But that's fans for you.
Oh man, I don't even have a comment for that one. I have no clue.
Sajan hit me up. So Sajan, I would love for you to I guess go check it out and let me know what you thought about my Seahawks write-up. I know you're a Seahawks fan. Let me know how accurate I am. All right, so John has the Titans as a dark horse this year. Quarterback and improvement on defense. Talking about the Quandre Diggs signing. I mean, look, John, Brent and I will make predictions. I mean, Jory and I will do that on Passion and Precision also at some point. So I don't think you're going on too much of a limb necessarily, building up the Titans. I think they could be a good team as well. Although apparently we're supposed to be calling Cam Ward Cameron Ward. I feel like that change was made like on the NFL website. So I guess he wants to be Cameron. I guess like the whole Patrick, not Pat Mahomes thing. Jory thinks the Titans will start off rocky, but they'll get it together. That's understandable with a rookie quarterback. But yeah, so Dave, what's going on? Appreciate you tuning in.
I think the Titans will start out slow. Like, I don't think they're a dark horse playoff team or anything like that. But I do think they'll make some solid improvements. They'll end up with another decently high draft pick next year, I think. But I think that's going to be one of those teams where they're going to start out sputtering, a lot of young pieces and young talent you still have to bring together. And I think they'll finish strong down the stretch.
It'll be a building block season.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the key for this season for them will be finish strong going into next year, and you continue to build around Cam Ward next year.
I know it sounds a little bit controversial, but this is why I think players like Steph Diggs, John Morant should get more harsh punishments than players who gamble on games. I don't think you're going to win that argument because you're gambling on games that hurts the integrity of the game, which then hurts the validity of the league. John Morant going on IG Live and doing something stupid, that's just what it is. What it is. Okay, I don't know what that's about. Isn't as harmful as waving a weapon or doing harmful things. Well, I mean, I don't know what isn't harmful about waving a weapon, but like I said, the gambling is more about how the league is viewed. So that's a little different. Jory said Calvin Ridley sidekick. Got you. Yeah. Let's say next time Cameron, is live on Twitch, tune in. The man's giving you insight. Browns rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders. Yeah, Dave, we talked about that a little earlier. Yeah, Shedeur is going to start the preseason game. I believe that game is the one like they're showing live on NFL Network on Friday. So it's going to be a big deal. Well, we'll see how Shador looks. First opportunity with the first team offense. Oh, get Brett back in here. The defense can carry the offense. Just don't see it happening. I just want them to win more than 3 games. Yeah, I feel like that's reasonable. I think kind of along the lines of what Brett was saying, that there might be a time where, Ward, got to give him time to get acclimated to the speed of the NFL, but I think he'll be fine. Like if mid-season you see them being more competitive and winning some games, yeah, you as a Titans fan, should feel better about next year and him growing a little bit more. Because once again, like Jory said, as long as it looks better than it did with Will Levis, that's reasons to be happy this season. Welcome back. It's going to be a little weird if they continue to show those Mayo commercials and Will isn't even playing. I think that's going to be a little weird, but I still wonder about that.
Sorry about that. Technical difficulties.
Yeah, it's all good. Is there a certain time of day when it's just you and Guardy 3? Enjoyed it. We're here every Tuesday night. So, market calendar. No, appreciate that you enjoyed it. We definitely try to put on a good show. David said, this is my thing. Why wouldn't you want him to be the starter? If I can get him to where he's starting material and not have to keep Gabriel or Pickett, realize it's a good chunk of salary that could be traded for a bigger need. I think for Cleveland, they're just hoping somebody emerges. Because obviously Flacco is like your short-term solution, probably just this year. The hope would be between Gabriel, Shador, or Kenny Pickett, whatever. Somebody looks good enough to be the quarterback for at least most of this season. If not next season, because obviously if they have a bad year, they'll be tempted to probably go get an Arch Manning or somebody, I guess, if you're able to. Which if they do that, then it's like a whole cycle of them reaching for quarterbacks. And as Jory put, when you hear more and more about the selection of Shador Sanders, the coaching staff didn't want him. The owner went and got him. So now that makes it even weirder that was it Stefanski? Job could be on the line. And if the season does come down to Shador being your starter, he's now relying on a guy he didn't actually want in the first place. So it's almost like Stefanski's kind of in a no-win situation. Let's see. It would be manageable due to not having to witness Will. Yes. What are y'all thoughts on Brock Lesnar coming back? Damian, that would be for Brett and Meaty Boys.
The synopsis, it sucked ass, but I'll let you know more why in about a half hour.
Yeah. Okay, Jory's conspiracy theory, they don't want him, so they're giving him early tape so they can get rid of him. Yeah. Look, if I guess to play into that theory, if Shador goes out Friday and looks like a complete mess, they can then tell their fans, look, this is why he was a 5th round pick. He's not that good. So we're moving on from him. Because he was such a big focus of the draft that now everybody's going to want to see how good he actually is once the lights turn on, even though it is preseason, but he has to prove himself, obviously. So Anthony thought Brock was banned. David's glad that Brock's back. There you go. You got 50-50 right there. So David said if it wasn't the Browns that grabbed him, he could take some time to percolate a little bit before going to the top QB position. Brady, Mahomes, Allen, to name a few, who started as backups, learned the playbook. Yeah. Look, the biggest problem was Shador was like put up there with Travis Hunter. And it was like Travis and Shador, Colorado. Travis and Shador, Colorado. Shador is an okay quarterback. Travis Hunter, I believe, is a better prospect in the NFL. So now you're hoping Shador's kind of more humble about his approach. He goes out there, he does his thing. If it doesn't work in Cleveland, I don't want to see like the outrage the next day about how Shador is being done wrong or something. Like, put your head down, sign somewhere else, try to make it somewhere else if that happens. Because we all know in this league, if you're a quarterback, you will get a chance. There's enough bad ones out there that get shuffled around that he'll find an opportunity somewhere else if it is in Cleveland, as long as there's some humility with him. Because, I mean, Cleveland doesn't really need all these headaches. Deshaun Watson's enough of a one. Now you got Shador. You got the questions surrounding Stefanski. You have the ownership. Like, it's a lot. I bet Shador's better than Shuck. Yeah. That's a easy one to compare. And some Saints fans might be looking at Shador when they see Shuck out there week one and go, what are we doing here?
Yep. I think they absolutely will. Because, at the end of the day, a lot of people are clamoring for the Saints to take him since they didn't have a quarterback, and obviously they went Tyler Shuck. So I think Shador is pretty much going to be linked and compared to every single rookie in this draft class that was picked over him, like every rookie quarterback. So, and I think especially guys like Dylan Gabriel and Tyler Shuck and Jackson Dart, like those guys that were picked later and before him, yeah, especially them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Shador's gonna be popular on social media because fan bases will look at their quarterback situation and look at where Shador went in the 5th round, and the first thing they'll say is, "Our quarterback stinks. Why didn't we draft Shador?" Or, "Our quarterback stinks. Why don't we get rid of him and trade something to go get him out of Cleveland?" Like that's all this season's gonna be. Outside of Cam, yes. Well, yeah, Cam has his own little battles to deal with right now. So David, make sure you tune in Meaty Boys, like half an hour, because Brett and Mo will definitely talk more about Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar and SummerSlam. It's going to be great.
Yeah. Did you hear Devontae Adams is not a fan of Hunter playing both positions? He won't have a long career.
It's a very, very real risk that he won't. Like,
yeah,
there's a reason there's not dual sport athletes or like dual sports, dual athletes in football. The best you get is like someone like Dion who played situational wide receiver. And asking a player to just play every single down, that's a lot of wear and tear on your body. And this isn't college anymore. Like,
yeah,
it's physical, it's brutal. They're faster, bigger, stronger at the next level. Like, I think that, he'll try it at first, but I don't see him full-time playing both for his entire career. I think he'll have to pick one or the other if he does want to have a lengthy career.
I think Jacksonville is handling it probably as best as they can right now because they have him listed as a starting wide receiver and kind of a bench corner. Right, that's where I kind of think they'll feature him as a wide receiver. He'll play in a few packages defensively out at corner, but he'll most likely be a wide receiver predominantly. And I feel like, because him trying to play, 4 downs of football on both sides of the ball, his career would last maybe 2 years dealing with that kind of punishment in the NFL. So I think it'd be interesting to see when they do sprinkle him in at corner, like what situations do they put him out there as? But it's intriguing, I will say. Yes, ESPN acquired the NFL Network and Red Zone and NFL Media.
8 hours of commercial-free football starring Stephen A. Smith.
Keep that man away. Yeah, because Scott Hansen isn't doing it. I guess I don't know.
It'll be Stephen A. like ignoring every single game that's going on just to talk about how terrible of a city Memphis is.
I mean, look, ESPN better fly up to Scott Hansen's house and beg that man to come back and do Red Zone. Because if they parade Stephen A. Smith up there and like some panel of people doing it, no, I'd count me out on that. Like you want to put like Ryan Clark and some of your NFL people, or maybe some college football people, not Pat McAfee, on it. Fine, do that.
Putting former players that can break down the action in detail might be fun. But like if you're going like if you're like anybody but like one of the really big names, that's all I'm saying. Because like if you told me that it's gonna be like Stephen A. or even like Pat McAfee, which I like Pat McAfee, but I think Pat McAfee's also just better in short bursts on like College Game Day where he's on there for maybe an hour or two. I just can't see. Like, I don't know. I don't know how good Pat McAfee would be for Red Zone. That would be an interesting experiment because he can break down everything in more detail. But also, like, I don't know if a lot of people can handle 8 hours of Pat McAfee. He's a very strong personality.
Yeah, I think for the ESPN NFL thing, I kind of want to see more details on their plans. I know ESPN's been running this thing about this fall, like a new ESPN, and I guess it's probably because of this, because they were in talks to acquire NFL properties. But I just want to see what it looks like. I want to hear what their plans are for Red Zone, what they plan on doing with the NFL media they acquired. I just want to know the details. That's where I'm at with it. Because there are a lot of NFL fans that are worried about this partnership because of what ESPN's kind of done with other sports. So
I think rightfully so to be a little worried.
No, absolutely. Yeah.
Like I said, they just like throwing out their big names and then just running with it.
Yeah. Is Chris Berman still with ESPN? Isn't he? I think he is. He's like at that point where you'll see him every so often. I think he still is kind of around. I don't know who's more of an idiot, Stephen A. or Skip. I'll just say yeah, because whoever you say is going to be the right answer. Feel for John Cena. Got his booty whooped on because he did not keep that belt. Yeah.
Stephen A. or Skip Bayless. That just all sounds like nightmare fuel to deal with 8 hours.
Yeah. So yeah, hopefully if it isn't a Scott Hansen, maybe it's a new guy that they or somebody within ESPN on a smaller role, like you said, that they promote them to do that, and we kind of live with it. But yeah, if Stephen A. is there like week 1, I'm turning it right off. I'm not doing it.
So somehow by like hour like 4, we would be like talking about like presidential debates, and you're like, where did the football go?
Right. Or when he on his show when people ask him like, who's your Pokemon starter? Like that's what it's going to turn into. Like, no, we don't need that. Although that is a good segue. Go ahead.
No, I'm just imagining. And plus, like, I remember during the NBA draft, he didn't know half the names of the players. So, like, would he know like half these like player names?
Like he was terrible last season with it. They brought him back again this year to do the draft. He wasn't any better. And I purposely, I think he was on ESPN. So I went to ESPN just to see if he was still there. I saw him sitting in the chair. I immediately turned to ABC. I preferred that group over Stephen A. Although I think after a while, Perk ended up on ABC, but it was still better than listening to Stephen A. read from a binder because he doesn't know who these people are. Like they need to back away from the Stephen A. train. Next watch would be Troy Aikman, Joe Buck, Jason Kelsey. Jason Kelsey, I could see that. He would have the energy to do it. I mean, Aikman and Buck, I don't see how that. Aren't they still with Fox? So I mean, I wouldn't want that either. But Kelsey would be the type of person you'd want. Somebody who's kind of new to the game, who would have the energy to do it. The guy who does the red zone highlights, the other job. I think I saw somewhere like Hansen is out on doing it, but I don't know. Maybe it's they have to. I don't know. I'm hoping it's Hansen, but if not, we'll see. I'd rather listen to Bella bark for an hour straight than listen to Stephen A. for 3 hours. Yeah. I get tired of looking at Stephen A. holler. Yep. I was watching First Take this week when Stephen A. wasn't there. Wasn't bad. They had Kimberly hosting. You had like Ryan Clark and a couple of others actually discussing stuff without Stephen A. trying to dominate the conversation. It's much better without him. ESPN sucks without Stuart Scott. Yeah. All that did that just reminded me of somebody who could do it. Scott Van Pelt would be good at it.
Oh, we're gonna be like have high hopes for someone like Van Pelt, and it'll be like, hey, game day featuring Booger McFarland. Like,
but I'm just saying, if you wanted to go with a bigger name on ESPN, I think Van Pelt would be the best choice that they have.
I want to have hope that they're gonna get the right guy for the job, and they're gonna get somebody really good.
Yeah.
But I feel like if we know ESPN, they're gonna find some way to royally screw this up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, let's get into the tier list because we're running a little bit late on time, but let's go ahead and get this out of the way. Obviously, we want input from you all. Let's get this up here. Here we go. So we are doing this, the NFL watchability. We're gonna tier all the teams. We have Welcome to Primetime. Those are the teams that you can't miss when they're on TV. Watch them pick Louis Riddick. I mean, it'd be better than Stephen A. At least you have that. I say Tony Gonzalez would be good. It's not a bad name. Second tier, Sunday on the couch. You know, you're looking around, you see them up there, you're paying attention, but it's not like a primetime game. I'll catch the highlights or the teams that they're on. You're not really interested in the game. After the game, you go to YouTube, watch a little quick 4 or 5 minute package, and you go, all right, I've had my fill. And then you have the on mute. If that's the one game in your area, you find something else to do. It's just on the TV because it's football, but you like cleaning the house. You might be outside in the backyard. And you come back and you're like, oh, the game's over with. I didn't miss anything. So as we always do, we'll start from the left. We'll work our way around. And obviously, why did the Saints have to be first? Like, we haven't killed them enough in these tier lists. But
on mute with the TV off.
Right. Like, at some point, Saints might be, you throw the TV out the window. Like, you just spoil the TV because the Saints are on it.
Burning the TV and starting over.
Like I said, not to rag on the Saints, but it's just you're not watching the Saints if they're on TV. So the Dolphins, you got some drama. You got McDonald might be coaching for his job. You got Tua.
You know what? Funny enough, gosh, the problem with
he's washing clothes during the Saints game. Yeah.
The problem with the Dolphins, right, is they have a lot of chunk and explosive plays that can make them very exciting. At the same time, they're just a really bad football team.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like they're a perfect let me catch the highlights team because you don't want to sit through a full Dolphins game. Yeah. But, like, the highlights are pretty cool at times.
Yeah. You might get a Waddle celebration, the Penguin. You might get a deep bomb to Tyreek Hill. Or you could just see, them flaming out, and you might just sit there and be like, oh, it's only a matter of time for Michael McDaniel is out of a job. Because that guy right there is a fraud when Tua is not under center.
I think the next George is straight up back to back. Welcome to primetime, right?
Yeah, Ravens. Yes, whether you're watching them like I do, hoping they fail, or you watch them because you just love watching Lamar Jackson. When they're on, you're glued to the TV. You're locked in. Bengals. I think you said Joe Burrow, Chase, Higgins. I'll take that all day. I guess outside of the first couple of weeks because they're going to play bad because that's how Zach Taylor teams are. But for the most part, they're prime time.
I feel like the Broncos are a perfect Sunday on the couch team.
I can agree with that.
Like,
that defense will be fun to watch. Right,
like all their fun comes from the defense. You're not catching that on the highlight reel 90% of the time. So I feel like they're a Sunday on the couch team. I would not mind just chilling all afternoon watching a Broncos game.
Jory put Ravens on mute. I love that. The Giants. The best thing the Giants have for them, Jameis Winston. Look, if I'm a camera operator and I'm doing the Giants game, I am locking in on Jameis Winston. Because you have no idea what that guy's going to do with his time on the sideline.
I don't know if they're at a point where you want to watch an entire Giants game, but you know what? They might not be a bad team to like catch highlights on. Like, Malik Neighbors, Russ Moonballs, and that front seven should actually be a lot of fun to watch. Like, honestly, if you want to say put them on mute, I would completely understand.
I wouldn't argue against it.
But at the same time, like, I think that team has some sneaky potential to be kind of fun to watch this year.
Like I said, worst case, you get Jameis out there with his antics. The Vikings. J.J. McCarthy, Justin Jefferson, Skull Chance.
Sunday on the couch. Defense. I can't even hate on the Vikings. They're Sunday on the couch, or you can even say prime time for them. Like, the thing with the Vikings is the atmosphere. Like, the offense are going to have a rookie starting. That's exciting. Brian Flores' defenses are fun. And when they're at home, like, the skull chants are great. Yeah. Being there to witness them, they're really cool. So,
also, Jory did say she loves the category names. Appreciate that. The Rams got Stafford, got McVay. There's aspirations of them being a contender.
I actually think that they're I think they're like either Sunday on the couch or prime time. Like Stafford, Puka, and Adams, they should have an elite defense. Like this should be a serious, right? Like this should be a seriously fun team to watch.
Dare I say, Williams and Neighbors connection is going to be fun to watch this year. I'd like to see Jameis get a little action too. I'm sure you'll see Wilson, Jameis, and Dart all this year.
Even the chat split, Rams number 2, Rams prime time. Like this team, like you could put them either prime time, Sunday on the couch. I'd actually lean towards putting them in prime time, honestly.
Yeah, because they should be. They should be a good team again this year. And Stafford will make a throw to a game that you're just like, you still got it. The Bucks. As the Baker Mayfield fan here, I mean, what's not primetime about them? But I think if you're honest with yourself, I feel like they're Sunday on the couch.
Yeah, what keeps them out of prime time is the same thing that puts them Sunday on the couch, ironically. Like, Baker Mayfield is on, it's prime time. But when Bad Baker shows up, it drops down to let me catch the highlights because it's really ugly.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, he's so funny because I feel like Baker's, like, takes them all the way to the top, but he can also push them almost all the way to the bottom on the week.
So you split the difference. You go with the Bucks as Sunday on the couch. I mean, you got the Lions now. Dan Campbell, Hutchinson. I don't think Goff is necessarily exciting on offense. You got Jameson Williams. He might give you a hip thrust or two for a touchdown. You never know.
I genuinely do not think that it's so tough, right? I think the talent's still there to be prime time. I don't know if the coaching staff will put it together. Like, I almost want to like put them onto Sunday on the couch for the Lions this year. I think that's their happy medium.
Jahmyr Gibbs will be fun to watch. Yeah, I think Sunday on the couch is fair. Fair for them. The Bears. All the upgrades. You got Caleb Williams, Ben Johnson's first time as coach.
Oh, the Bears are absolutely must-see TV this year. Like, I don't know if they'll be good.
But you just gotta check it out.
You gotta watch.
Yeah.
Like,
I think that's fair.
On one hand, I think they're like straight up prime time, even if they're not good, just because of like Caleb under Ben Johnson and all the sweeping changes they've made.
Right. It is. And look, if Caleb really does struggle, like Bears fans are going to absolutely lose their minds this year. And that right there, the reason why you got to watch them. The Niners are interesting because a lot of the big names we've known the past couple of years. What's going on, Mo? Mo came in right when we were talking about his team. Lost a lot of big names. Like you said, Solid's coming back, so the defense, you might be able to hold up a little bit. Brock Purdy got paid. People might be watching to see if he's worth the money or not.
49ers, that's just a straight up let me catch the highlights team if I've ever seen it. I think you either have to put them on Sunday or highlights, but I honestly don't know how good they'll be week to week after all the injuries have taken their toll. So I would put them on let me catch the highlights.
Right, and plus their schedule, because it's so easy as people are putting it, it may not really draw you in as much even with that. So I think that's fair.
Eagles, primetime.
Yeah. I mean, that's Super Bowl champs. They rosters loaded. Yeah, you got to watch. Raiders. Brock Bowers, Pete Carroll, a bunch of guys. I don't know. I feel like they're probably highlights, but I don't know.
Let's see. Raiders, let me catch the highlights.
Yeah.
It's literally going to be all handoffs to Genty and hope he can break one for their highlights.
Anthony said Raiders. I'm watching the news. That's funny. I'll give you that one, Anthony. Caleb Williams will pan out with all the talent around him. I'm unsure if the Bears did address their O-line. They did focus on that. He's not as mobile as Fields. Fields learned to buy time by rolling out, especially when it connected with Moore. Caleb has a much quicker release. If the O-line gives him time, he'll have a good year. That's fair. Jory said Raiders highlights, so she agrees. Your Packers.
Prime time.
Hey, Toyota-thon, they're in their own tier. They're above primetime Toyota-thon.
Matt LaFleur offenses are fun. Like, Matt LaFleur offenses are fun. Like, watching him to be able to adjust regardless of who's in, whether we have Jordan Love or Malik Willis, is great. Like, the offense can be explosive. The defense was elite last year under Hafley, and they're getting us, going into Hafley's second year. Like, I think Green Bay is going to be, one of the top teams in the NFC this year. And I think even when they lose games, they're fun. Like, when they lost games last year, they were all nail biters in close games where they made some furious comeback in the fourth. Like, this is going to be a really fun team to watch again.
Yeah. I'm excited to see Matthew Golden with that wide receiver group, and how he kind of fits with Jordan Love, because I think that could be a really good pairing once they get the timing and everything down. Washington, I mean, look, after last year with Jane Daniels and everything, obviously Terry McLaurin's back, that would affect it, but Jane Daniels is fun to watch. So I think for them, it's either prime time or Sunday on the couch. Maybe they're Sunday on the couch because maybe they haven't crossed into prime time just yet. Give them somewhere to grow.
Are they going to resign Terry McLaurin? Because that Sunday, I mean, it's funny if they resign Terry McLaurin, they're Sunday on the couch. If they don't, like
Yeah,
they
they
almost
could
drop
be.
all the way down to on mute. Like
Yeah.
I think what saves them is Jaden Daniels. Like Jaden Daniels probably just keeps them on Sunday on the couch like category, but
Yeah, that's fair. Cardinals.
oh, I'm watching that team on mute.
Hmm?
I'm watching that team on mute, but I think they're probably realistically in the highlight section.
Yeah.
Also, not a big fan of the Cardinals.
Yeah, I'd go highlights with them. Trey McBride, like I said, I like watching Trey McBride. Connor is a decent running back with them. What's going on, Andre?
I'm
Packers schedule's beautiful this year.
Stars coming to land. I'm hoping to go to a couple games this year, or at least one. That's the goal. I'm trying to get up one game this year.
Okay. Steelers. Like this is highlights at best. I think this has disaster written all over it, which might make it Sunday on the couch where you just want to see it fail. But I'm highlights with the Steelers.
I would put highlights on the Steelers. I'm not sitting down to watch a full Steelers game.
Yeah. The Bills.
Prime time.
Yeah. John says Steelers couch. I mean, John, you're a better man than me.
The defense will be fun. The offense will be I don't know. That's the issue. Like,
yeah,
I don't know what to expect. Like they didn't really address the O-line. Their run game's still weak.
Mm-hmm. Like
the
Mike Tomlin might grow hair just to rip it out this season. The Falcons.
The hilarious part about the Falcons is they're probably, I think they're a highlight team.
See, I could argue they might be a Sunday on the couch. I mean, the thing that holds them back is the coaching staff. I don't like at all, but I think you look at Penix, Bijan Robinson, the myth of Kyle Pitts. I think defensively, you got Jesse Bates. Like you have some pieces there that I think they will be an enjoyable team to watch.
I mean, I also don't like watching quarterbacks have 27 minutes to just stand in the pocket surveying the field because the Falcons still don't have a consistent pass rush. Like, yeah, I think it depends on what you value. Like, if you're more into offense, you probably would be Sunday on the couch. But if you're really looking at, like, the whole picture and you're looking at how awful that pass rush was last year and that completely nuked the defense, like, it's not enjoyable to me. Like, when you can't even put up a fight against the worst of teams because you can't pressure quarterbacks, like, I'm good.
Yeah. So we got the Seahawks now. John says highlights or mute.
I genuinely, we can be nice and put them in highlights. I'm not big on the Seahawks this year, but I'll leave that up to you because I very well could go with mute for the Seahawks.
I'll go highlights on because I like Kenneth Walker. I like Charbonnet. Darnold, we'll have to see. You know, by the end of the year, if he struggles again, they might be a mute team, but I think highlights is fine for them. I mean, you know me, Pat's on prime time with them. I'm watching every game, but I think I think because Rabel and everything, I think they're a Sunday on the couch type of team.
Yeah, I think Sunday on the couch at best. I think you can either put them in Sunday on the couch or highlights. Vrabel, young coach, obviously new young talent. Like, I think they'll be an interesting team to watch.
So David's trying to give him some love and other Saints. Don't worry, won't be the only one sitting there. You got Dallas and the Jags coming up.
I can find something enjoyable about most teams. Like the Browns and Saints aren't really just one. Like, I
Yeah.
don't need to watch Myles Garrett get triple teamed the entire game and the Browns lose by 87. I'm good. I'll do my laundry. I'm
Yeah.
good.
I mean, look, it's like maybe if Shador starts, you go highlights just to see how he looked, but there's not any scenario where you're sitting down Sunday to watch the Browns. And they're not must see TV. John says he has a shocker to put in mute. Looking at the teams left, what would be the shocker? The
Texans?
Chiefs?
Maybe the Texans. I don't know.
Texans.
It is Casey.
There we go. It is Kansas City.
Texans, I think they're definitely interesting because they can either be another highlights or they can be a Sunday on the couch team.
Like CJ Stroud.
I think CJ Stroud's good. I think that
nobody's watching the Browns, including their fan base yet.
Will Anderson, and Daniil Hunter are a great pass rush.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I hated watching Texans games last year because I hated watching them block or lack thereof. So, like, if you want to put Sunday on the couch, I think that's fine. Otherwise, like, I could very well see them being a highlight team.
Yeah, I feel like they're Sunday on the couch. Kansas City. I know for a lot of fans, they're probably down here because they're sick of them. It is a redemption tour with them after being embarrassed in the Super Bowl.
I think that the Chiefs are. You know what's funny? We might as well just throw them in prime time because of it's the usual suspects. It's Patrick Mahomes is always prime time. Andy Reid, Spags. You can make a real argument though that this is a Sunday on the couch team because the offense is probably going to be very anemic again this year. But at the end of the day, like I think I respect Patrick Mahomes and that company enough to just give him anything less than prime time. I enjoy watching Chiefs games, but I also enjoy watching Spags confuse everybody on defense. It's great.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. You could argue them either one. But out of respect, you got to put on prime time. You got to. I mean, the Cowboys, because of their dysfunction, they're prime time because it's just how are they going to screw this up? I think realistically, they're probably a highlight-worthy team because watching them offensively is going to be it's like bleach your eyes because the running game, you have no idea.
I think the offense will be the only fun part of the team, though.
Yeah, because you're probably wondering to see when does Pickens go at Dak? When's the first time he just gets in his face and loses it?
At least they can have a passing attack. Like, when I'm looking at this defense and I'm trying to figure out how they're going to stop, like, an inside zone, that's probably the bigger problem.
Yeah.
Like, the offense is going to produce highlights. The defense, I don't know if it can stop a nosebleed.
Yeah. So, Sunday on the couch. Well, one, like every 4 o'clock window, the Cowboys are on anyway, so.
Yeah, might as well.
Yeah.
Chargers.
I feel like they're a Sunday on the couch, too.
Yeah, probably. Harborough, hypothetical Herbert. Like, they could be a fun team to watch.
Yeah.
Jets.
People want Herbert to be like a top 5 quarterback, then he better be a Sunday on the couch type of team. David says it's a mess here in Dallas.
Okay.
I feel for you.
Jets. I'm muting that. Okay. And the funny part is they could be a highlight team, but it all depends on how big you feel into the Wilson Fields connection. Like, I think they're borderline mute and highlight, but Aaron Glenn probably pushes them to at least highlight.
Yeah. Be
curious enough.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
You root for Justin Fields to do well. We'll see if Sauce is Sauce again, or is he Ahmad this season if he struggles again. Isn't it a mess in Dallas every season? That's fair. Panthers, I'm intrigued by this Panthers team. So I wouldn't put them on mute. But if you want to say highlights, I'm not saying like necessarily Sunday in the couch, but I think they're highlight worthy.
They're highlights.
Yeah.
It's say Titans. I think
the
they're
Cowboys
at least
trade him. Jerry let Micah go get his money. Yeah.
I think Titans are also just like a highlight team. I think they're above mute with Cam Ward's presence alone because you want to see how he does. But at the same time, that could also push them to a Sunday on the couch team from just Cam Ward alone to see how he does. So I think
I'm a couch.
I'm cool with couch.
Because defensively, they have some pieces on that side of the ball as well. Titans are prior time.
Honestly, next to mute.
Done. Yeah.
LP.
Those are the two simple ones.
Like the Mount Rushmore.
If you're watching Jags and Colts games and you're not a fan of either team, then you're a bigger football fan than I
am. You know what? He has a point.
John has a point.
Jags all right, John. Get up to highlights just because of Travis Hunter.
All right. John had to put some wisdom here, I guess, because of Travis Hunter.
The big three of on mute, I like it.
Yeah. Culture or train wreck I have to watch because of the quarterbacks. That's fair. Damien said, like this ranking, only nitpick would be that the Bengals and Lions should join the Saints and the Browns.
I think the Bengals are very exciting.
Poor Jerry's confusing himself here in Dallas. No, that's Jerry.
But
there you go. That's our watchability tier. As we said, the only teams on mute, Saints. Sorry to do that to Saints. Every tier they're at the bottom, but the Browns and the Colts. Once again, the majority of the teams are Sunday in the couch or highlights, and then our primetime group: Ravens, Bengals, Rams, Bears, Eagles, Packers, Bills, Chiefs. Feel good about that one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So obviously, we'd love to hear from you all. I will put this up on the Wire to Wire page after the show. You can let me know if there's anything you would change about it. Saints being on mute is a mercy. Bengals defense is mute worthy though. Like if they bring in Hendrickson, the defense is a little bit more intriguing. But as of right now, like that side of the ball, find something else to do until Burrow has the ball back in his hands. I guess next week's tier list. What should we do to kind of tease for those of you in the comments? If anybody in the comments has a suggestion, feel free to drop it in there, and we may do that one next week. It was mute worthy with Hendrickson. Fair, yeah. Henderson there at 28th.
Yeah. That's the fun part, though. We get to see what they are without Hendrickson.
True.
Like, I think it's prime time. Like, listen, are we going to complain when every single score in game's like 41-39? I think it's going to be fantastic.
Mm-hmm. A lot of fun. Brandon, any suggestion for our tier list next week?
Ooh,
I think the safe one, I'll throw this one out there. Do we tier the teams based on contending? Super Bowl contenders versus all the way down to you're going for the number one pick next year.
Hey, you know what? I'm down for that.
Okay.
If you're taking shots every time the Bengals defense gives up a touchdown, I feel like that's an excuse for just people to be an alcoholic.
You will have your stomach pumped by week 2.
Week 2? Like halftime.
Right.
Gonna make Joe Flacco look like 2012 prime Ravens Flacco.
Yeah. Should do college football next. We don't necessarily do college football because that would be for coast to coast to do.
Yeah.
So cool. I mean, I could see it. Burrow hitting 6,000 yards. That would be a lot of fun to watch. So I guess for right now, we'll do contender tier list next week, which once again, it'll probably be more bashing on the Saints being all the way down at the bottom, but it just is what it is.
Tier 5, LOL, Saints.
Right. Now, those of you who are college football fans, Coast to Coast is back. They are on Saturday mornings. So you guys need your college football fix. They've got you covered over there as well. Like I said, this is all that we have. Brett, you want to let them know what they have coming up for Meaty Boys? Go ahead and tell the people.
Yeah, we're obviously we're going to be talking about the return of Brock Lesnar. We're going to be talking about SummerSlam. Be looking to get that going maybe in like 12 minutes by like 8:20 Central. I got a couple of boys that are looking at me right here that are about to bark at me to let them out. So I'm going to take them out, and then I'll get everything set up, and we'll talk SummerSlam and Brock Lesnar.
All right. Damian, we will do NBA tier list closer to the NBA season. Doing one now would be, I mean, I probably could find one, but we're kind of keeping it NFL themed leading up to the season. But NBA, we will definitely do when it's closer to the tip of the NBA season. Briefcase behind you, the ramp, huh?
I mean, I got my briefcase.
Oh, I guess so. The color scheme and thought. Okay.
Yeah. Mary Ram's like color scheme, but it's the Money in the Bank replica, so I love it.
Brett's biding his time to go cash it in.
I'm waiting.
Appreciate that, Mo. But yeah, so appreciate all of you for tuning in. Really do. Love it when you guys interact with us. It makes this so much more fun. So like I said, next week we'll have another NFL tier list for you. Look, if anything happens on the Micah, Terry McLaurin, or Hendrickson front, we'll definitely talk about that as well. So make sure you're back here next Tuesday for On the Ball. And check out the other shows on the network as well. You have Meaty Boys coming up next. You got Coffee and Sports in the morning to get you started. Make sure you guys tune in tomorrow morning for that. Until next week, for myself and Brett, not guarding the 2, guarding the 3, we're out of here. See you all later. All right, bye.